Hi, I'm Trish. Welcome back to my kitchen. This has been a tough week for our family. We experienced the loss of a very beloved family member and we're grieving. Because we're in a little bit of emotional pain, I want to make one of our favorite comfort foods for dinner. We like to have meatloaf when we're not feeling our best. My meatloaf is made with Impossible Burger and it's vegetarian. You can make a version of this that is actually vegan. You would use a plant-based butter and leave out the egg. It works just as well. What you'll need to do is get a plastic bag, and I'm in the habit of saving any leftover bread that I have that might be about to go bad. I cut it up into cubes and I put it into a plastic baggie in the freezer. That way, if I am in the mood for bread pudding or a strata or meatloaf, I have bread ready to go. And it helps keep our food waste down, which is really important to me. What you're going to need for this is your Impossible Burger, a plastic bag, an egg, some butter that has been grated in a cheese shredder. You want a packet of meatloaf seasoning, your breadcrumbs, and some milk. To get started, we'll put our meat substitute in the baggie. If you have freezer space, this is a fun thing to keep on hand. Again, I don't recommend making pretend meat the foundation of your diet, but it is nice on occasions like this when you want some of the old favorites and it's quick and easy. So to keep this sanitary and to keep my hands clean, I'm going to put this in a baggie. I'm going to add the meatloaf packet. We need 1 egg. We'll add our shredded butter. This is really the secret right here. The meatloaf is absolutely delicious because we make it greasy. You know, butter is my religion. I say it all the time. We need something to make it a little bit wet. So we'll put in some milk. If you're in the habit of procuring your milk from a farm, please pasteurize it first. It really doesn't diminish the vitamin content at all. What it does diminish is the bacteria content. So it's important to me to make sure that our food sources are clean and sanitary. And it's fun to get milk fresh from a cow, but you want to make sure that you do pasteurize it. And you do that by putting it on the stove and heating it to 160 degrees. Okay, I've got this all mixed up in the baggie. My hands are still relatively clean. This mixes the flavor in really well. Mixes our butter up. And we're going to add the bread. Now, if you want to make this more nutritious, you can absolutely shred a carrot. You can add diced onion to this. You could also add other vegetables. There's zucchini, there's celery, whatever you have in your fridge. Again, your family probably isn't going to notice. It just adds a little bit of flavor and it bulks it up so it goes further. And it gives you some veggies that your body will probably appreciate. Okay, my meatloaf looks fantastic. It is well mixed. And because I don't do the dishes around here, I've put a foil liner in my bread pan. That's optional. It's a little bit of a time saver when you're trying to clean up. Typically, I use the bag that I saved my breadcrumbs in, and I mix it in that. Because you're probably not going to wash it and reuse it after. It's a little bit of a greasy mess. I know it smells funny. With a rubber spatula, I am smoothing this down into a nice loaf shape. Okay, when it's shaped the way you like it, pour a little more milk over the top. Looks like that. And what that does is it's going to give it a nice brown color and it helps it stay tender and juicy. So I've got the oven preheated to 350 degrees and I'm going to put this in for 20 to 30 minutes. I'll probably check it after 20, and because it's plant-based, it's going to be fine to eat it. If you give it 30, it doesn't dry out. You might want to cover it if you're going to cook it a little longer, but you really can't overcook it. Just turn the heat down and keep it covered. While the meatloaf is baking, I put some water on to boil, and I got a good deal at Freddy's on some corn on the cob, which goes nicely with meatloaf. I'm also going to make some gravy, and I've shown you this before, but I just use cold water, a spoonful of cornstarch, and some vegetable bouillon. I use Better Than seasoned vegetable base. This is really great if you don't care for the taste of beef, but you want something that's appropriate for this type of dish. This is a really good one to use. I'm going to mix this up real well, and when it's blended, I will put it on the stove on low heat until it simmers and thickens. Our meatloaf has been cooking for about 25 minutes, and this is absolutely perfect. Nice and brown, and it's bubbling on the sides. That's absolutely what we want. We're going to pull this out. Here's a better look at it in a different light. You don't want it too crispy on top, just bubbling around the sides, and the butter is a good indication that this is ready to serve. I pulled it out still in the tin foil, and look at this. Bonus, this pan is going to be easy to clean up. Here's our gorgeous, juicy meatloaf. That's just 25 minutes or so in the oven, served with a side of corn on the cob, which was on sale, and some mashed potatoes that I mixed with cheddar cheese, a little bit of pepper, and some milk. I'm going to pour a little bit of gravy on here. Gorgeous. I hope you make this, and I hope you love it. Bon appetit.